has failed. It has failed rather spectacularly.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's not businesses, it's not corporations that create jobs. Remember that. Joining us now is Larry Kudlow, CNBC senior contributor, host of the fantastic radio show on Cumulus Radio, The Larry Kudlow Show. Larry, that was Hillary back then. You wrote a piece just the other day that Hillary has to return to a JFK growth agenda, but in just the past couple of days, she has said that she's going to topple the 1%, and she said that small business creation has stalled out. How she's going to marry those two together, I don't know.
Hillary is bipolar. That's where I come out on this. It's interesting. You're right. Look, one time she starts bashing corporations and trickle down. I might add, her husband cut the capital gains tax when he was in office, and with Newt Gingrich, he was a pretty good pro-growth president.
By the way, you're talking about being economically bipolar, I would assume.
Yeah, economically bipolar, right? I'm not psychiatric enough to know about the other stuff. But it's just odd to me. She comes out with those statements attacking corporations and businesses, and she forgets that her husband was pro-business, working with Newt Gingrich, cutting the capital gains tax and going for free trade. So Bill Clinton was a growth guy. I don't know what Hillary is. I mean, then she said the economy is stalling and small businesses are over-regulated. She's right about that. She's very right about that. And if she took that tack, deregulation, she'd be in the growth camp. I mean, my point here is the Democratic Party can be rescued by a pro-growth presidential campaign by Hillary. And the great Democrat, John F. Kennedy, did this in the early 1960s. He cut tax rates across the board. I'm writing a book on this subject. Reagan used the JFK tax cuts with great success. Kennedy had 4% growth in the 60s. Reagan had 4% growth in the 80s. In fact, Reagan launched a 25-year boom. So I just wonder if somebody would show that to Ms. Clinton and say, you can do it. Democrats could do it. You don't have to move to the far left. You can actually grow the economy.
But Larry, she does have to move to the far left to prevent a challenge from the far left or to answer a challenge that she might get, albeit from a candidate that may not have much of a shot.
Yeah, well, I know that. I get that. I don't see it as a threat to her. I just don't. So I think she has an opening if she wants to take it on the growth side. Look, I have another editorial point here. I'm watching all these Republicans in New Hampshire at the cattle show this past weekend. And I just want to say that I was disappointed because I don't think the GOP has yet established a clear growth agenda of their own. All right? Once in a while they mention the word. Nobody has fleshed out a flat tax plan. Marco Rubio has the most detailed tax plan. He walked away from it last weekend, and his is not pro-growth. His is not pro-growth, at least on the personal income side. Business side, he's good. Personal side, he's got $2 trillion of child tax credits, and he's going to raise tax rates for middle-class people. So the Republicans have to tell the country, here's my growth plan on flat tax rates, on deregulation, on limited government, and a sound dollar. They haven't done that. They haven't done that yet. And I'm a little bit concerned they're not getting their message across. So I'm just saying, look, I'm sure Hillary's not going to take my advice, okay? But I did issue this challenge in this column I wrote and reminded her about JFK and reminded her about her husband. She can do this. Let me also say one more thing. The Republicans in New Hampshire really spent a lot of time attacking Hillary, okay? Attacking her, for the possibility of the Clinton Foundation money shenanigans, quid pro quo, as the New York Post put it, and Peter Schweizer's book. I haven't read Peter's book yet. Let me just say that I don't think that's a fruitful approach for the GOP. Let her hang herself if the evidence is there. But to trash her and to slam her really is kind of mean, actually, okay? And I think it's kind of surly. And I think it sends the wrong message to women and to minority groups and so forth and so on. Let her handle these issues. They're hurting her, but they're going to hurt her without the Republicans chiming in. Don't be so snarky. That's what I advise to the Republicans. Spend your time explaining to the country your beliefs about getting us a good 4 to 5% economy and creating another 12 million jobs. That's the GOP. They're not doing that right now. And the other point that our friend Chris Ruddy pointed out, and I talked about it on the radio, and you all were nice enough to publish it up. Chris is right. The idea that some Republicans like Marco Rubio have, that yesterday doesn't matter, it's tomorrow that counts. Well, that may be a jibe at Jeb Bush or Hillary Clinton. But it also worries me. A lot of good ideas have come from the past.
Right.
For example, Reagan ideas.
Right.
And they should be replicated.
Absolutely.
I mean, Milton Friedman's ideas. Should we disregard that because it came from the past?
Great point. You can't limit yourself when you run
can't.
like that. No.
If it worked, look, there are certain universal principles
Larry,
for economic growth.
I got to go. Love talking to you, my friend. Larry Kudlow. We'll be back, folks. Don't go away.
Many buyers are seeking a used